My name is Jay Christian Wilmore. I'm from Houston, Texas. I was sitting in my 4th hour class and I got a call from Pastor Julian. I didn't know it was him until I got the text and he was like, give me a call back. I went after class, called him, and he was like, hey, you've been invited to go to Bike Week. I didn't feel qualified, of course, because I'm second year. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, like usually I hear about these things like people who are in 3rd year doing these things. I'm like, okay, God, I guess I'm gonna be in it. The first day we was in the van and we was driving there. And Ramon, he was talking, and he just kept going on and on. He was just talking about the things that I was expecting. I was sitting there having my worship music on. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is gonna be big. This is gonna be, God's son is here for a reason. And I know that God equipped us to do everything that we need to do. And so we arrived there, we get a quick exhortation, and then we went to Main Street, which was apparently the worst place to go. It was like strippers, people, drugs, alcohol, and all that. But I was like, even though I wasn't ready, I knew I was okay. God called us to do this, let's do it. And we struggled a little bit, but I know that God pulled us through the first day, and we saw a big harvest actually. So one thing that with me, I know that I always want more boldness with God. I'm like, God, I want to have boldness to go soul win. I want to do these things that God called me to do. Actually, the second day, I was with Mr. Waller, and we was going, and we was 2x2. And like immediately, I felt like, I was like, you know what? Forget these people, what they're doing. Forget that they're having fun. I don't care. I'm just going to grab them. I'm going to start pulling them. I'm going to start telling them about Jesus. And even in their sin, I was like, God loves them. It doesn't matter. And so I started just like, I had a joy. And I told him, like, this is the most fun I ever had soul winning. And we're going to people this dude was talking to me. And he couldn't even look at me in the eye. He was so drunk. And I'm still talking to him. I'm okay, God loves you. And in that moment, I'm like, these people literally are lost. These are lost people that need Jesus. And through all that, I knew that God was using us to reach people in their sin. One of the best things that happened was at this vendor booth in the Harley dealership. And there was this young kid, he was sitting behind the counter, and he was a little kid. I'm like, okay, I bet. He's like 15 years old. I'm gonna tell him about Jesus. And I talked to him, he's like, dang. He's like, all right, well, I want to say the prayer. And I prayed with him. He was like, bro, you gotta go tell this to my brother. And he was like, my brother got khaki shorts. So I go around, I start trying to look for his brother with Matthew. And I couldn't find him. And then so Matthew, we go to this bike thing. They have like this music. They were testing out their sound, speakers and all that. And it was like a contest. And he takes the mic there. He prays for everybody. And then so we go back to try to talk to him. And his brother actually was there with him. And then so I prayed with him. And he kind of find out this dude is like 20 years old. He just had a kid. And he's young. And he was going through a lot of stuff. And he pulled out his vape. He's like, yeah, I know I don't need this. And then I was like, yeah. I'm like, bro, I told him to give me it. And then I was like, bro, today, this is the day that you're going to be set free. And then his brother grabbed it. He was like, all right, we're going to smash this right now. And he started smashing on the ground. And I knew, I was like, when people know they need Jesus, they're going to let go of everything else that they don't need. And it touched me a lot. I'm like, dang, this kid, he has no parents. They both had no parents. They're both there by themselves. They had nothing. And I'm like, they need Jesus. They need God. Pretty much the whole time, it was like divine encounters. We were seeing people healed, seeing people set free. And on the last day, actually, I saw this lady that I saw on the first day. And she was homeless. She was very frail, like she hasn't ate. And she was laying on the side in the middle of Main Street. And so I try to pray for her, and she has so many different things that she argued with regarding doctrine. And she just didn't want to pray. And I saw her on the last day, and she was laying there. And I'm like, I see her and I'm like, yo, I was so happy to see her, and I went to her and I actually gave her a hug. And I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? I'm like, do you want to pray today? I know God didn't send me here for you to just, like, this is the last day. This is the last person I could talk to. And then she was like, you know what, I want to pray. And I was like, and I thought about them, like, what did God do in her heart from the first day to now that made her want to sit here and pray with me? Because she wanted to argue the whole time. And so I grabbed her hand, we prayed, and that broke me, low key, that broke me. It's not about who you are. It's not about being relevant to the people. It's not about, because I didn't feel relevant there. I'm, just a black dude, and I'm just there in this bike week. I don't have anything connected to them, but it's about the gospel, because the gospel is like a sword. It pierces straight to the heart, no matter what. So it doesn't matter where you're from, if you're qualified or not. Just go.